All right, welcome back, everyone. It is LaughNgamez here. I am back with another Starcraft 2 1 versus 1 replay cast. As usual, or as of late, I suppose, it's going to be another one of these WCS World Championship Series Starcraft 2 replays, and that means we're going to be casting a best of 5 for this one. It's actually going to be a Terran versus Protoss, and it should be a very fun one to watch, guys. So we're just going to introduce these two players. Spawning up in the top right-hand side of the map, it is Liquid MaNa. He is a fantastic Protoss player. He's been around for a long time, but then still has some very good results here and there. And then I actually cast him in yesterday's video. It's Kelazhur, the Brazilian Terran who's living in Europe, I think, and just playing all sorts of StarCraft and doing well. So should be a bit fun to watch Kelazhur versus MaNa. I cast Kelazhur versus Serral yesterday. That was a fantastic match. I hope you guys enjoyed that one. But this one is, yeah, it should be great. Maybe a little bit closer, as I actually have no idea who can take a match like this, MaNa or Kelazhur. They're both such fantastic players. As far as the opening goes, MaNa just went for a standard gateway expand. And, yeah, he's just scouting out. He's being very particular about his scouting here, making sure that there's no proxy barracks or anything like that. It's not as common as it used to be, but it still happens, guys. You have to keep an eye on that sort of stuff, making sure that those cheeky Terrans aren't doing any kind of proxy or anything like that. And then Cybercore on the way. Nexus on the way. Cybercore is before the Nexus, which is worth pointing out. Another sort of safer play from MaNa. It just allows you to be a lot safer, not have to worry about dealing with that Reaper, as just going for like a normal gateway expand, I believe. SCV for Kelazhur is scouting out, though, just confirming that it's a Nexus. You want to make sure that everything is where it belongs and that your opponent's not cheesing the heck out of you or anything. After all, this is a best of 5, so you're generally going to be seeing at least some sort of cheese. Now, we're just going to lock onto this SCV for a second. I mean, it is a full best of 5, but we are going to read the comment. And the comment for this video, which is, or the previous comment, I suppose. Basically, this comment is from Lucha Gaming. Pardon me if I pronounced that wrong. He says, "Hi, nice video. Can you please say what shortcut it is for the income advantage graph?" And I got back to him on this, but basically we're using the mod WCS Game Heart, which allows us to have a few little extra niceties, whatever, for casting. Basically, it's what's used to broadcast pretty much any StarCraft 2 tournament uses WCS Game Heart. For those of you that don't know, it's an extension mod that you can add when you create a custom lobby. It's just completely in the game. You don't have to install anything, but it basically allows us to have like a nice graph like this that shows MaNa's earning a little bit more money than Kelazhur right now, and Kelazhur going to be losing this SCV here to the early Adept for MaNa, just coming on out. As Kelazhur, he's got his Reaper out and he's got his 2 Hellions, so he could potentially catch this Adept. We'll see if he's able to make that happen. This Reaper is just going by, but not running right into that Adept. Maybe he's going around, going to check the sensor tower, or that Xel'Naga tower, pardon me. But no, yeah, guys, if you have anything to say about a video, always feel free to leave a comment, as I do read them, believe it or not. I get a little notification or whatever every time someone leaves a comment. And if you're enjoying this sort of commentary and you're looking forward to how this series is, make sure to press that like button. A little bit preemptive, but going to be a hop in between games and stuff. So let's try and hit 25 likes for this video. That would be absolutely amazing for this TvP. Now, the build that Kelazhur is going for in this game, it's actually going to be a Widowmine drop that he's heading out for here. Now, MaNa's Oracle just flew right by that Medivac, so Cat's a little bit out of the bag on this one. And look at this, a Phoenix is actually in position, so this Medivac, it's just got to go gas, as MaNa opened up with his Stargate. But take a look at this. Hellion's getting on into the natural, as I believe that Reaper probably tossed a grenade to bounce those Adepts. So looks like Kelazhur trying to get some damage done to his opponent, but he's going to have to start unloading mines. Looks like, are they all going to get out? Yes, they will all get out. They're going to burrow, but not in the ideal position. And meanwhile, on Kelazhur's side of the map, he lost 3 SCVs to this Oracle. Mines going off, still getting a few shots off. However, they have all detonated, so now they're just going to actually just run away for Widow Mines. Just, you got to keep moving, guys. I mean, MaNa's on top of you. So unfortunately for these Widow Mines, they are going to go down. 5 probes died. However, I think that worked out pretty darn well for... I think it worked out pretty darn well for MaNa. I mean, we take a look at the units lost here. 5 probes and an Oracle for 4 mines, 2 Hellions, a Medivac, and a Reaper. And let's take a look. Yeah, Phoenix on the way. Just going to lock onto these 2 Adepts as this is going on. Okay, but now here we are. Phoenix for MaNa as he opened up with this Stargate continuing on. I do apologize about that, guys. Just having to give someone, or having to give my friend an address, just coming over, just moved a few months ago. Oh, looks like Widowmine going to hit one of these Phoenix. However, MaNa taking an engagement here, picks off that mine, trades out, picks off a Viking, a mine for a Phoenix. I think that was probably worth it. A lot going on here. Now, let's take a look. Engineering Bay on the way for Kelazhur. And how's he going to be following this up? Because he took a bit of a beating. So where's this game going to go from here? He's got that 3rd command center on the way. But MaNa, he's a pretty happy Protoss, it would seem. As, yeah, he's getting that armor charge, getting up his 3rd Nexus. And, I mean, he just had a pretty clean opening in which he dealt with most of the harassment and stuff. Now, let's take a look at this Observer on the way for MaNa. So he's already done a really good job shutting down most of the harassment. I mean, he's lost 5 probes, so his economy should be doing pretty good. He's got the Phoenix to control the map still. And he's actually going right into a Templar Archives and making an Immortal. So maybe going to be skipping Colossus tech, which I definitely don't mind. As long as he's going to be getting up some Psystorm here. And Psystorm, a very good option for Protoss players. And there we go, Psystorm going to be getting Chrono boosted out. In my opinion, the Psystorm is a pretty damn strong thing, as it's just one of the most powerful spells, I believe, in the game. And I think Kelazhur and MaNa probably both know it. MaNa really wanted to get that out. Of course, Psystorm is very good versus clumped up armies, so Kelazhur might want to spread out and try and hit everywhere. He scans, he spots the Templar Archives, he spots the High Templar. So Kelazhur knows that he's going to be going up against. This might light a bit of a fire under his ass, as a matter of fact, is you generally don't want to let a Protoss reach that ultimate late game in TvP. That's the way most Terrans play it anyway, is you generally want to kill them before they get to that scary, scary late game. And Psystorm, having Psystorm tech is definitely a big part of that. So MaNa, he might even just have Psystorm up before Kelazhur really can put on the aggression, because his stim pack is so far off. So I'm really liking this situation for MaNa. This first game is looking pretty darn well for the Polish Protoss player. Now let's take a look here. Upgrades finishing up, +1 armor. So MaNa going to be having, yeah, that +1 armor starting +1 attack. Kelazhur's getting his +1 attack, so they're going to be equal on upgrades. But if you're Kelazhur, you're still going to be contending with Psystorm. And Psystorm can have its weaknesses. For example, like a bunch of siege tanks can just pick off the High Templar. They're not very good at attacking into the tanks. However, there's actually no tanks out for Kelazhur. His stim pack isn't even done, and oh my god, is MaNa just going to catch this army? This could be disastrous for Kelazhur. It looks like it. These Marines, and they can't run away. They don't have stim. They just got to boost on out of there. MaNa just going for the aggression, and he is just pushing into Kelazhur. He attacked before stim was even done. There we go. We see some tanks are done. These are actually going to be so important for Kelazhur. Keep in mind, there is a chance that MaNa overextends. However, he has just got a ton of Zealots. He's got an Immortal and some Phoenixes, even some Adepts shading on into the natural of his opponent. Kelazhur going to get on top of those Adepts, but in comes MaNa. He's engaging right now. The Bio does have stim this time around, so it's going to be able to try and kite away, but look at that. All the mine shots go off, and there is still a ton of Protoss standing. The Warp Prism going to be warping in a lot more units, doing what it does best, and yeah, I think MaNa just destroyed Kelazhur in game number 1. His 3rd base is under fire. I mean, there's a chance that Kelazhur can keep kiting back. He's got this bunker to run on into. 9 SCVs have gone down, though. More units are getting warped on in. There's a chance that MaNa is overextended here. Morphing 2 more Archons. His Warp Prism is still alive, but that's probably going to go down thanks to that Viking. So there's a chance that Kelazhur holds on. He's taken a lot of damage, though. His 3rd base has been lifted off. That being said, though, this was a pretty big commitment of an attack for MaNa. He'd never started a 4th base or anything behind this, didn't get into any higher tech. He might still just be able to kill Kelazhur, though, but those were some nice mine shots, picking off some of the Zealots, and this is a lot of Bio versus Archons. Bio versus Archons and just gateway units isn't too bad since all the Psystorm has gone to support, so looks like Kelazhur did manage to hold on. He's got an army supply lead for now. He's going to reland that third base, probably mule that as soon as you can, and then he's just got to start putting the pressure onto MaNa, because the situation that MaNa is in right now is basically that he really committed to this attack, and that means that since he did that, his army back at home isn't that strong. It's not that scary of an army. He's got 1 High Templar, or actually he's got 2 more, and Warping or going to be building up some more energy there. But the big Protoss Death Ball has been shrunk down a little bit, and this is going to give Kelazhur a bit of room to put the pressure onto his opponent. 1 Marauder runs into a Zealot. That Marauder's a little bit injured, though, so he definitely can't take that fight. And okay, this is the move that Kelazhur is going to be going for. He even scans to make sure MaNa doesn't see this, as it's going to be a bunch of Medivacs moving by, but oh my god, look at this. There's no blink. However, Kelazhur's attempted drop has been scouted out, so he's just got to boost away. You just got to boost back home of your Kelazhur and get ready, because MaNa was actually planning another attack, and Kelazhur was planning a drop, so these two kind of hitting an odd situation, but this looks pretty good for MaNa as he drops the Psystorm down. Some Widowmines are getting shots off on the Zealots, so really hurting those. MaNa gonna have to be careful attacking into this. Kelazhur, he's got a good number of Medivacs to heal up his bio versus this Psystorm. He's got to unload this other Medivac. It had units in the back there for quite a while, but look at this. Zealot's getting on top of a lot of the bio. Kelazhur survived the first attack, but is he gonna survive this one? Another 15 SCVs go down, and Archon is going to get picked off there. Widowmines are going to be getting connections off on some of the Zealots, but I think this might just be a little bit too much Protoss. I think that Kelazhur is going to be considered dead here. I mean, MaNa, he did a very nice job there. He's getting up a 4th base behind this, getting up more upgrades. Kelazhur, he's trying to hold on. He just doesn't have enough bio to really consolidate. And there we go. GG, well played, gets called. MaNa takes game number 1 in this series. If you guys are like, oh no, that was a pretty quick one. It's over just like that. That is why I am casting this full best of 5. It could actually be a very long cast between these guys. But that was game number 1, and MaNa was able to take it. Now we got to do this whole log on in shenanigans. So we'll just do that. Log back on in, do. Press that next replay, which is going to be the map New Repugnancy. And as we are loading into this next game, guys, feel free just to press that like button. It works out nicely how I can ask you to do that. It does help the channel, shows that you guys are enjoying these casts. But I'm going to be casting Starcraft regardless. So here we go. New Repugnancy, TvP. Apparently rocks can be destroyed to open up new paths, thanks to that advice screen down there in the bottom of the loading screen. But here we are. It's a best of 5. And this guy, he won the first match. And this guy, he won the second. Now, we're going to just wait and check if there's any proxies. Might do a bit of fast forwarding, as I like to do in these long best of 5s, because I don't want to completely destroy my voice. And, yeah, I just got to be a little bit careful with that. But no crazy proxies or anything just like that getting started. But, yeah, it's not like I'm going to skip through important parts. I might just fast forward as the game really gets started. Just, I mean, we don't need to see the first 2 minutes. I've already yammered on for a minute or 2 at the start of a game, just because, like, you know, don't want to have. I can't read a comment every match we just hop on into, or fill a couple of minutes. Let's just fast forward a little bit, get into some of the Starcraft. I slowed down, though, just because it's important to note that MaNa is going for a probe scout here. And like I said, not going to be fast forwarding too much or anything like that. MaNa going for a double gas opening is an interesting choice. So double gas before his Nexus. I'm not a Protoss player, but yeah, that makes me wonder. Cybercore first, going to be the choice coming out of MaNa. He's got his probe hanging around in Kelazhur's base. You want to be a little bit careful with that. But yeah, that double gas does indicate that MaNa's going to be going for some aggression. We have yet to see a Zealot or anything come on out. But you only go for a Cybercore first and a double gas, I feel, before a Nexus if you are looking to put some aggression on. So MaNa maybe going to be wanting to deny Kelazhur's expansion, get a nice blow on him. I'm willing to bet it's going to be an Adept Chrono boosted out. We see MaNa, he's saved up a nice bit of energy, so going to be able to Chrono boost out maybe 2 units. As the second the Cybercore is done, what's he going to dump this Chrono into? Oh, wait a second. Is there a supply block? Okay, there was a temporary supply block because MaNa is going to be going ham right now. He's going for a proxy robo. There we go. He's now Chrono boosting out this Adept, but he is saving this other Chrono. Maybe it's going to be for an Immortal or something like that. an Immortal or a Prism. Just a singular proxy robo like this is a little bit odd. So Kelazhur, he's going to be getting cheesed, and I said in a best of 5 you're probably going to be seeing some of the fromage, and this is definitely that case right now. This Adept going to be getting into position to intercept this Reaper. A Nexus is on the way for MaNa, but it's a little bit off time, I believe, for what Kelazhur is going to notice, because that robo was before that. So Kelazhur's going to be like, what's going on here, guy? What are you hiding? Reaper's going to get on into the main base. Kelazhur has only seen the one pylon, though, and that is a big way that Terrans can tell if they're getting completely cheesed or not. So we might be seeing alarm bells ring on Kelazhur's side of the map, and Immortal is going to be getting chrono boosted out. I wonder if we'll see maybe a bunker for Kelazhur. I feel as if you definitely need to get one in this situation as the Terran, because you sniff something's off, like this Nexus timing. And you gotta at least get, like, say, one safety thing, like make sure that you have out a Cyclone or something, or a bunker. Marines are now moving out for Kelazhur. He's a little unsure of what's coming his way. None the wiser, though, to this proxy. Makes me wonder the fact that there's a shield battery. If we're going to see a Prism, that's what it's going to be. A Prism and an Immortal going to be trying to deal a number to Kelazhur, who doesn't have a Viking out just yet. Once he gets out a Viking, that will greatly help him out. For now, though, this isn't a complete all-in for MaNa. This is a cool bit of the middle road. He's got a Nexus up behind this, so it's not like it's a crazy one base. It is a commitment, though. This robo on the other side of the map. We'll see. Is MaNa going to be able to make something happen? A Cyclone is on the way. A Tech Lab was started on this starport. However, this Immortal is going to be coming on in, and he's going to be able to start working away on whatever he pleases. I mean, a few Marines are coming forward. Looks like MaNa going to be trying to focus that down, but a little bit of missed micro there. Takes a bit of a beating on that Immortal, loses a bit of extra shields. Now going to be pursuing down that Reaper, just kills that off, but look at that. This Immortal already back on full shields is going to be able to unload itself. Maybe he can just pick off that reactor. That's really what he wants to get, and he gets it. Reactors take a long time to build and are fairly expensive. So MaNa doing this cool micro, going to be having double Immortals, both healed up in this shield battery. You got to be careful, though, if you're MaNa. If you lose this Prism, it is just lights out. But look at that, the Immortals, they focus fire down the Cyclone, and now suddenly it's just Marine versus Immortal, which actually goes surprisingly well for Immortals if they're microed correctly, just getting very good trades. And now look at this, another shield battery going to be getting tossed down. You got to be very careful if you are MaNa. You got to save those Immortals. Ooh, he actually loses one. That's a big mistake there. Trying to get the siege tank, but overcommits. Now an Adept is going to be shading on into the natural of Kelazhur. But keep in mind, this was a pretty big commitment for MaNa, and while it had the potential to snowball, he kind of stopped. Losing that one Immortal really hurt, and unfortunately for him, he made another, but still, that really hurt. Looks like a few SCVs are going to be going down to these Immortals, just doing what they can, but just Immortals in a Prism don't really work versus Terran, because a Viking's going to come out and eventually shoo away the Prism. So these two Immortals might actually just be committed here, and a bit of missed micro from MaNa. Once again, I feel as if he just wandered into those Marines, took a bit of fire that maybe he shouldn't have. And now look at this, these Immortals going to be trying to run away from these tanks of Kelazhur that are getting set up. And since the Prism is gone, that basically means that if MaNa wants to attack into this, he has to be direct. And I don't know if that's going to work. I don't know a world in which that works. We're seeing Charge get on the way for MaNa. He's getting up a Sentry as well, getting up another Prism. I wonder if he's just going to go for a big all-in or something like that. You got to be careful, though. Oh, look at this. Yeah, this one Immortal could be getting caught out, and it gets tanked down there. So another Immortal goes down due to sloppy control for MaNa. And make no mistake, he should be keeping those units alive from losing the first one. This rush just hasn't been working out. This is looking pretty good for Kelazhur. Of course, there's this Prism, which can keep trying to juggle these units back and forward. But take a look at this. These mines now getting set on up. MaNa, good save there. Avoids that mine shot, but the tank's still in the back, working away on this robo. And with that Prism going down, thanks to that MVP of a Viking, I don't know what MaNa can make happen. Losing his Prism means, and losing his potentially losing his robo here, means that he's not going to have another one. So he picks off the Viking, which is good for me. At least gets the tank, but trades out pretty much every major part of his army. This Stalker isn't going to be able to stay alive. Actually, it retreats to the shield battery, so it's going to live a little bit longer than it should have. But the shield battery is out of energy, and that Stalker is dead. MaNa did not get up another robo, so he has to build one at home, and he's just starting it if he wants to get out, say, High Templar and a Warp Prism to get a big attack going, because that's what it's looking like right now. Just a ton of charge lots. probably supported by some Storm, is the game plan of MaNa. And I mean, it's very high tech that he has. So there's always a chance, as a matter of fact. But man, I am loving this series so far between these two. MaNa, I mean, he's in a rough spot because that attack didn't really get enough done for the commitment. We see that he's kind of down on workers a little bit, that he's on his side of the map without any way to counterattack till this robo's done. And it looks like maybe MaNa thinking of starting a third base, but that might just be a little bit too late, too little too late. I believe that if you're a Protoss and you play well enough, you can always defend what your opponent's going for. Of course, it can be very tough, and the main reason why I think he can most likely defend what Kelazhur throws at him is this Psystorm. It's very good defensively, but look at this, a double drop, going to be moving towards the main base of MaNa. And suddenly, he might just have to recall. He chooses to warp in 3 Zealots and a High Templar here, most likely to feed back a Medivac or something. There's 1 feedback going down. Meanwhile, Zealot's getting on top of this. There we go, 2 feedbacks going down. Now, MaNa in the middle of the map is actually taking an engagement. Pardon me for missing this. Some High Templar are getting picked off, though. Widowmine's getting connections everywhere. Archon can pick off this Raven, but I'm actually going to just skip back because I missed that engagement in the center of the map. Oh, yeah, look at that. That was a fairly big mistake from Kelazhur. The Raven could have potentially been feedbacked or picked off, but MaNa was busy dealing with this drop. There's Marines at his natural. This is actually such a scrappy game so far. The Raven goes down, but it picked off most of the High Templar thanks to getting its auto turrets off, but instead of just getting feedback. So this is such a scrappy game right now. Charge lots, though, pretty good. Going to be forcing Kelazhur away. And MaNa really wants to push on into his opponent. What does Kelazhur have? He's got a ton of Marauders, but Marauders not the best versus Zealots and Archons, I feel. And there's just going to be 1 or 2 Psystorms in this army, which could really make life tough. But keep in mind, this isn't all of MaNa's army. He's got a fair bit back at home defending. The 1 Psystorm goes down, or is there another Psystorm? It looks like there is. He needs to drop that beautiful Psystorm. More Zealots being warped on in. This is looking really dicey for Kelazhur, who didn't quite have his bunkers finished up. He's losing units. That being said, though, the drop on MaNa's side of the map is still drawing his attention away, so this might be all that Kelazhur needs to hold. More High Templar coming forward. They can maybe get some Psystorm off. These Marauders stimming forward. They got to be careful. MaNa, though, not paying attention. No Storm being tossed down there. Fantastically done by Kelazhur, realizing his opportunity. And while I feel as if MaNa had opportunity in this game, it might just have slipped away. That attack didn't work. He's got like 10 Zealots in his base just to deal with 1 or 2 Medivacs dropping. And so this is a much better situation for Kelazhur now. Take a look at this. He's getting up a Ghost Academy. He's got himself just a ton of bio. He's up on supply. There was no third base for MaNa. And while I feel as if MaNa had a pretty good situation in this game, it could be real rough for him right now. Kelazhur is going to be dropping into the main base of MaNa, and we may need to see a recall or something like that. But MaNa he does have energy, but nothing in position to deal with this drop, so he's going to be going for a big attack right now, realizing that Kelazhur got up at third base is not going to be a good feeling for him. But we could be entering a bit of a base trade right now. High Templar in this Prism are going to be what MaNa has. However, then this drop going to be unloading in his main base, and what do we see? There's a couple of High Templar at his natural, but yeah, this is a full-on base trade right now. Some Psystorm going down. Lots of SCVs are getting picked off by these Zealots and Archons, but all Kelazhur needs to do is hold on. 1 nice Psystorm going down for MaNa. There's going to be more where that came from, I believe, so there goes 1 more Psystorm. However, all these High Templar have spent their energy, so what you see is what you get from MaNa. Supplies a little bit close, but there's so much Terran in Kelazhur's main base. Pulling the boys is exactly what he needed to hold this off, and in the main base of MaNa, GG gets called. Kelazhur ties up the series. What a fantastic Terran versus Protoss. Man, just fantastic games. And let's take a look into the next one. It's 1-1 in this best of 5. This is why I love casting these long series, as we've got potentially, or at least 2 more games here, as you got to win 3 if you want to win the match. So getting on into the next TvP between these two, and I know sometimes people will knock, like say European, and I think it's safe to say European matchups, but this is a fantastic one. MaNa and Kelazhur, 2 great players, and they've been showing us some great games. I feel as if MaNa definitely made a few missteps in that game, and probably could have won it if it was played over again, as it was a close and scrappy one. Can't dwell on the past, though. Here we are. It's 1-1. It's a best of 5. You know who these guys are. It's MaNa, Kelazhur, a Terran, and a Protoss. A battle between space cowboys and aliens. yeah, let's just take a look here. What are there any doodads around this map or anything that we can find? I mean, there's some minerals in the crate. I think it would be cool if Blizzard maybe made it so that you can like pick this up. Say, what if it's like 50 minerals or something? I don't know. Maybe encourage players to scout more. That would be something cool. Maybe we'll see that in StarCraft 2. But for now, just aesthetics out on the map. That probe zooming across the map as we just see this opening. Nothing too major happening here. But no, we'll just continue on. Probe comes on in, harassing. And these are two just fantastic StarCraft 2 players. Kelazhur has to pull an SCV. Oldest battle and annoyance in the book. If you are someone who's known to lose your temper a little bit, don't play Terran, because the probe's definitely going to be giving you a bit of tilt. I definitely am not good at StarCraft, but it's pretty rare in which I'll lose an SCV to a probe like that. So I'm pretty proud to say that's the case, but it still happens. It even happens to pros. There's a reason why players harass with a probe. It's just such a pain. Now that probe for MaNa did go down, and that's because Kelazhur actually opted for a Marine before his Reaper. And MaNa doesn't know that's the case, that he went right into a reactor. He could just be thinking that it's like a later Marine or something like that. Or a later Reaper or something like that. Marine and then Reaper is definitely a thing that happens. So let's take a look. A Robo on the way for MaNa. I'm a big fan of the Robo openings versus Terran. Getting out that Adept now. And Kelazhur, it's important to note, no expansion yet. He's actually going double gas. MaNa came on in. Didn't actually identify that, so he could still be thinking that this is an expand build when it is not. Kelazhur going to be looking to put a hurting on his opponent. This Adept going to be coming across the map. There are 3 Marines out, however the Adept can shade, so she's actually going to be able to see that there's no expansion on the low ground just yet, which is a very notable tell, something very important. I imagine we'll see an Observer coming out for MaNa, a very important tool. And now a few more gateways going up. And that's just because he knows that aggression is going to be coming his way. Once you confirm that there's no natural, you're like, okay, why is there no natural? You tell me what's going on, I say. So MaNa probably going to be throwing up a shield battery or 2, if I had to imagine. Sending the first Observer across the map. We'll see if he makes another. For now, just getting an Immortal, playing very respectful to his opponent, as you don't know what's coming your way. And every player really has a preference for dealing with this kind of thing. Some players might go for an extra Observer, say because they think it's like a really quick proxy Banshee or something. And MaNa, though, has his Observer moving across the map, sees the Hellions, sees the Medivac, so he really knows what's coming his way. But does he actually have enough to stop this? He's going to have the Immortal out. But Warp Gate isn't done just yet. It's going to be done in a matter of seconds. Those Warp Gates do take time to transform, so these Marines going to unload. This is actually just a full-on frontal engagement while the Hellions are attacking the probes, just trying to get the shots up. The Immortal doing the best he can, but Immortal's not going to cut it versus Marines, so MaNa's investment into this Immortal was not enough. Now, he's only lost 6 probes, and I say only 6 probes, which isn't too bad since he's just running around like a madman. Stalker's trying to escape here, but look at this. Probes now have to be pulled versus these Marines. I mean, the shield battery is doing a ton of work, as a matter of fact. So that's actually very good for MaNa. Not taking too much damage. This one Hellion, though, he's going to just butcher at least a few more probes for good measure. This Hellion can maybe get another shot or 2 off. A bit of Medivac hesitation there. That possibly could have got out. Not the case, though. And Kelazhur, he picks off 11 probes all in all. He's almost got his command center done back at home. And he's going to have a siege tank or 2 out. So I feel as if that was pretty good. Pretty good for MaNa, or pretty good for Kelazhur, not good for MaNa. And it's also important to note that this Raven is out, and that actually most likely allowed Kelazhur to pick off the Observer, which is no longer in this game. So we take a look at this. All things considered, not terrible for Kelazhur. He's down about 4 workers, but his army is better. MaNa's build, whatever he had planned, is going to be really thrown off. We saw he started resonating glaives for a second, and now just went right into charge. So a little bit indecisive. And take a look at this. We're actually seeing extra barracks go up for Kelazhur. He's making a Banshee. He never got Cloak, but still going for a Banshee. Tanks. It's possible that this is just going to be a big push out coming for Kelazhur. One of these odd timed pushes. I do like the choice that he's getting a bunker, though. You can never be too safe. And the Banshee is just going to move across the map. No cloak or anything. Just going to be solely the Banshee herself trying to make some damage happen. Meanwhile, this Observer being very cautious. You never want to run into the Raven if you're an Observer. Third base, possibly being planned for MaNa. He's got a probe built to pylon at the third. He's got a prism moving across the map. Going to be going for some charge harassment. This Banshee going to be coming on into the main base. It does not have cloak, though. So, I mean, if Kelazhur had invested into cloak, MaNa would not be prepared for this. The Banshee's still going to be able to pick off a few probes. Is she just going to commit, or is she going to try and get away? It looks like she'll try and get away, just hang out at the back of the map, being a pain. And MaNa not moving in with his Warp Prism just yet. Busy dealing with that. Bit of harassment. So everything considered, I'm not necessarily complaining about the spot Kelazhur has found himself in. We take a look. He's got Stim. He's got Combat Shield almost done. And MaNa only on 2 bases once again. And Kelazhur, yeah, he's building up tanks. Or got a couple of tanks now gone into Widow Mines. He's got a Raven out that's been building up energy. He's got a good chunk of bio. He's actually doubling the supply. A Marine's now going to move on in for Kelazhur. It's going to identify the fact that the third base is on the way, which is a very important scout. Now, once again, though, we're in that situation in which anything can happen, and that's because MaNa, he's actually got 2 Warp Prisms out. However, one of them is going to be filled with High Templar who have Psystorm. And Psystorm, I mean, I love the fact that MaNa's just going for it. It is my belief, if you are a Protoss and you have Psystorm, there's always a chance to come back. Say it's sort of similar to the Disruptor, as long as you have some form of mass AoE, you can hope for those big connections, hope for your opponent to make big missteps. It's important to take a look at this Prism, though. It's Raven versus potential High Templar feedback. If the Raven can get an interference matrix on that Prism, that'll actually just be lights out for MaNa. No interference matrix going down just yet. Yeah, look at this High Templar trying to drop out. Looks like gets a Psystorm off, baits out a Widowmine shot, but the third base does get cancelled of MaNa. And this army of Kelazhur is still a very scary one. The siege tanks, the Widow Mines, and even that Raven, wherever it is, just hanging out in the back because it doesn't want to get feedbacked. You got to be very careful going up for Kelazhur. Eats a nasty Psystorm. There are actually 2 very nasty Psystorms. Kelazhur, I don't know what he was thinking going up that ramp, just decided to go for it. Didn't really give much time. Auto turrets being tossed on down, and Kelazhur actually able to push on in. And oh my god, MaNa just picked up the last Immortal, but it went down. There's a High Templar here. Doesn't have energy, though, to get any Psystorm off. That being said, though, the auto turrets have expired, and that was the majority of Kelazhur's just power versus this army. There is no blink, so these Stalkers can't really pursue this Medivac. The Zealots are going to allow MaNa just to keep pushing back, though. If you can, say, pick off a Medivac or a Raven, every bit really counts. But losing that extra Immortal and the Prism really hurt there. MaNa, though, once again, still has Psystorm, so there's always a chance versus a Terran. He got some very nice Psystorms off versus Kelazhur. Kelazhur was still able to push on in, though. Is there going to be a Psystorm here? There is not. Kelazhur runs on in and then retreats. Widowmines gets some shots off. There's a Psystorm, gets a pretty decent connection on the Terran army. The Medivacs are working overtime to try and heal this up. Is there going to be another Psystorm for MaNa? I don't know. There definitely isn't, because that High Templar just got picked off. And I think that's got to be it. I think Kelazhur are going to be taking a 2-1 lead in this series. Like these Chargelots going to run right on in. That's it. GG. Kelazhur able to bring down MaNa. He just got so much damage done in the early game. And yeah, that really was what gave him that game, I suppose. And now we're getting on into the next one. This is a fantastic Terran versus Protoss. Really glad, or I really hope you guys are enjoying this video. If you're new to the channel and you're stuck around this long, you want to see how the series ends, I feel the need to say maybe you should subscribe to the channel. It's completely free. You just press that subscribe button, and basically it lets you, or any new video I put up will pop up in your sub box. And I cast a fair bit of Starcraft 2, so it is worth considering. Now we're going to load on into the next game. It's going to be map number 4 on Cyber Forest. Kelazhur currently with the 2-1 lead over MaNa. And yeah, just seeing how this game is going on. We are loading on in. It's a best of 5. This guy's got 1 map. This guy's got 2. We'll see. Is there going to be any crazy cheese? Maybe like a command center first would be cool out of Kelazhur or something like that. I don't know if we'll see that versus MaNa, though, who's been going for a lot of cyber core. Or, yeah, quick cyber cores. I wouldn't mind it, though. We'll see. Is there going to be a gas for Kelazhur? No gas just yet. Is he just going to go for the barracks? Looks like SCV is rallied here, so probably just going to be a barracks into gas. So no crazy quick tech or anything planned for Kelazhur. Now a probe moving out for MaNa. Once again, MaNa goes for these very, very early scouts. Probe moving across the map. Ludicrous speed. And yeah, double gas coming out of Kelazhur, which is important to note. Double gas means aggression when you're a Terran player. It's pretty common in the TvP as far as all the matchups go. It's definitely more common in TvP than it is in the other matchups like TvZ. TvT, it's fairly common too. But it really was the staple, like the complete staple for a time when all the proxies were happening. That in that crazy time, that was off the back of a double gas, pretty much almost every time. Marine is out, going to try and catch that probe. MaNa learned from his mistake in the previous game, though. Gets that probe out alive this time. And all this probe on patrol. Kelazhur was thinking of poking down that ramp, but not going to be going for it. Look at this, the Marine moving out, but the probe has already gone to hide away. SCV is moving out on the map, interestingly enough. I'm not sure what this is for. I guess this is just a scout, maybe like a starport or something going to be getting thrown on up. And that is the case, as a matter of fact. This Marine running all over, trying to find MaNa's probe, which is now just rallying, checking for proxies. Is it checking in this location, though? That is the big question. And let's take a look. Adept going to be shading across the map. Checking for proxies and stuff, but not going to find it. You just got to try and see as much as you can. Unfortunately for MaNa, Kelazhur picked a very good spot. He is now going to be coming on in with this Adept. The Marine going to be retreating here. This Adept, maybe could have shaded on in there, but quickly changes her mind to cancel that shade because basically one Hellion or a couple of Hellions can pick off an Adept. The Adept deals a lot of damage to the Hellions, however the Hellions deal a lot of damage to the Adept. Now, this starport is getting proxied. I think that MaNa might have seen that SCV. So yeah, that tipped him off. Probe comes on in, sees the starport, sees the Hellions suspiciously waiting by that. So if you are MaNa right now, you're just going to be frantically getting ready for this. A Liberator going to be the follow-up, but that Hellion drop is going to be going under full swing right now. 3 Adepts are in the main base. They shade on, they shade on into the main base. These Hellions, they do not have a chance of unloading here. These Hellions will decide to unload, activates the Oracle Beam, lifts right on up into there. He's trying to bait these Adepts out, just try and get him out of position so he can get some damage done. However, if we take a look at this, there's now going to be a Phoenix out for MaNa, which should be enough just to push this Medivac back almost indefinitely. You got to boost away of your Kelazhur, but I don't know if this Medivac is... Yeah, I think it's just committed. So this is actually very, very good for MaNa this game. We'll see if these Hellions can unload, get anything done. There's a shield battery. Yeah, look at this Kelazhur. He just keeps loading and unloading. However, now there's going to be Adepts. I think maybe if he had just gone for it at the natural, that would have been worth it. Hellions are staying alive. The Oracle is going to be pursuing a little bit. In the end, the Hellions, they just get on out of there. A few more we're trying to run on in. That's not happening, though, so Kelazhur finding no damage versus his opponent. These Hellions are like, okay, I guess we'll go home. Starport flying home. This Liberator has yet to go for any harassment. Starport now on its way home. MaNa, he's made himself a fair few Adepts, though, going to be looking to bully his opponent. The command center is finished up for Kelazhur. A very delayed command center. He's now got Marines moving forward. He's got the Cyclone. I feel as if that's going to be enough to take on what MaNa has. It'll be close. However, yeah, these Marines, they put out a fair bit of damage, and these are unupgraded Adepts, so the first 3 Adepts have fallen. Is the second wave going to be able to get some good trades? Not really is the answer, so MaNa overcommitting a little bit. And now Hellion's running on into his natural, going to be frying up a few probes. Fortunately, that shield battery keeping him alive. The Liberator must have gone on in and got picked off. Hellion's getting a scout off, but 5 probes do fall. Kelazhur getting a bit of damage done. And yeah, this is just looking fantastic for MaNa. He's now going to be looking to move across the map. He's got Phoenix getting up charge. Nothing is out of the ordinary in this Protoss versus Terran. Extra barracks going to be getting up for Kelazhur, or I guess when I say out of the ordinary, I don't know what I'm saying, out of the ordinary. This game has been pretty unordinary with that proxy, with the very good shutdown for MaNa. No uncharacteristic mistakes. Looks like gotta be careful using those Phoenix, but look at this. They actually just commit on in and lift up the Marines that were threatening them. Now the Oracle and some Adepts have shaded on in. The Adepts not going to make it into the main base though, so they have to try and run away. They actually shade against that ramp, and a recall gets used by MaNa. Interesting choice. In the end though, 6 SCVs do go down, and that is a lot of critical damage getting done. It's important to note charge just started up for Kelazhur, so that's going to be a ways off. And his economy took a bit of a beating. Now we see a third Nexus on the way for MaNa, realizing, right, I'm not going to try and kill you, I'm just going to try and get up this third. And roll with the lead that he has, because he definitely does have a lead. And now Stim on the way, a Raven is on the way, but still, I feel this is a very good spot for MaNa. There's no other way to put it. Phoenix. Just trying to get done what they can. Nothing too major, though. MaNa does have very good control with units like this, most of the time. Meanwhile, an Oracle now flying across the map. There's currently 1 out. He's still just probably going to want to get a Revelation or something off. Just keep tabs on Kelazhur. Kelazhur is 2-basing it effectively. Revelation goes down, hits a Viking, hits a couple of the Cyclones. Nothing out of the ordinary, though. Nothing that is happening of too much significance in this game. MaNa, once again, going for that quick Psystorm, so not making a lot of Colossus, not even a single Colossus this series. Just really liking his Psystorm, which I'm an absolute fan of. It's a little tough to make work just using, like, the Psystorm as your only form of AoE. MaNa's been doing alright, though. However, hasn't managed to make too much happen with those big storms. If you manage to, say, get up like a High Templar and then a couple of Colossus just to sprinkle in some more constant damage, you will be sitting pretty. Now we take a look, though. This is where Kelazhur is going to decide to start moving out. He's going to be looking to push into his opponent. There is going to be upgrade equality here. +1 attack versus +1 armor. So these guys pretty on par with that. A Cyclone gets lifted up. As a matter of fact, I believe both Cyclones got lifted up. There are none on the map still, so a nice move from MaNa. He's got to be ready, though, to deal with this attack coming from Kelazhur, and I think he really should be. He's taking a bit of harassment from this one Marine right now, but there's going to be Psystorm, there's going to be Charge Out for MaNa, and yeah, he's equal on supply, so I think this is a pretty good spot for him. The Phoenix as well really helped punish Kelazhur, but he does decide to retreat, as some Adepts are going to be looking to go for a bit of harassment right now. If these Adepts do shade, they probably will be in a bit of trouble. Look at this, though. Stasis Ward was getting thrown on up. Just MaNa trying to make sure he's got all of his locations covered to the best he can. One Marine actually baited that out. That's a bit of a nuisance. Kelazhur just going to be macroing up from here on out. I mean, he's not in a great spot, but he realized that he probably couldn't try and kill his opponent, so he just says, alright, whatever, we'll just take this game longer, getting up a Ghost Academy, gonna have that third base up relatively soon. And this is one thing that a Terran player can do, is in which you try and go for some drop harassment. MaNa, though, had that Observer, which spotted this, so that was a very important scout. Looks like this Prism took a shot from a Widowmine, so it's going to be very softened up. Losing those High Templar would be a big loss. I don't think that MaNa is going to be doing that, though. Here we go. Look at this big drop from Kelazhur, though. Trying to pull his opponent out of position. MaNa, though, not doing anything else, though, other than focusing on defending these attacks. He's no longer posturing aggressively, really. There is so much map vision for MaNa, by the way. Look at this. Zealot. 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 Mine and Zealot, or, yeah, just Zealot. Now, in comes Kelazhur, but yeah, look at this. Zealot's cannons all in position. A very good spot defensively for MaNa. And there we go. He's realizing that this game is going later than the other ones, that he's going to be able to tech up more. So he is going to be getting up a robotics base. That's going to allow him to make a few Colossus. And 1 or 2 Colossus plus High Templar are so good. And this is actually something that I don't think a lot of people talk about as to what makes the Colossus so good in Protoss versus Terran. Yes, it's got pretty good damage. Yes, it has got good health, and the AoE is great. However, something that I think is just so important for the Colossus is that Terrans, when dealing with the Colossus, you either have to take one big engagement and kill them, otherwise the Colossus will just kite back and just destroy you. You cannot casually trade with a Protoss that has Colossus if you're Terran. So this is really going to just cause Kelazhur a lot of trouble, because when there is High Templar, which really prevent a Terran from diving on a Protoss, it makes life very rough, because then the Terran has got to be able to try and kill the Colossus, but you can't just trade out with them. But then you can't just dive on. So that is why you need Ghost Out or, say, Mass Liberators as the Terran, because it really backs you up against a wall when there is both Colossus and High Templar. One and 3 on the way, so MaNa going to have himself some very good armor upgrades. Not going to help the Colossus out too much, which really do benefit from attack upgrades. All of his Zealots will be very tanky, though, for MaNa. Meanwhile, Kelazhur getting up is 2-1. So there's going to be an upgrade lead potentially down the ways for the Protoss player. That's not too surprising. Chrono Boost really helps out with that. Kelazhur, though, he's been building up a very good number of Liberators from the scheme of things. Yeah, he's just been producing them nonstop at 6. Going to be heading up to 10. Which is no small count. Both players are going to be maxed out, so this game get into a very tense situation in which it can easily be just like a very quick loss for either player if they make a misstep. Now we're going to be seeing Kelazhur is going to be coming on in. SCVs are going to be taking harassment from these Zealots. Kelazhur is moving on in towards the main base, so a Psystorm gets attempted to be dropped down there. But nothing too major happening. This one High Templar does get EMP. There's going to be more where that came from, though. There goes a Psystorm on this Prism, but the Prism does get picked off, or a Psystorm on the Bio, but the Bio picks off the Prism, so that's a good chunk of the AoE from his opponent. And suddenly, how many more High Templar is there for MaNa? That is the question. He's got 4 out, so he does still have a lot of Psystorm out. I'd like to see 1 or 2 Disruptors out, as they really help out, they don't get countered by the Ghost. That's the main thing that really goes for the Disruptor, so maybe we'll see 1 or 2 of those coming out from MaNa. For now, though, we see MaNa just trying to bait Kelazhur into a bad engagement. Kelazhur knows he's got to be careful when attacking into a Protoss that has Psystorm. Kelazhur is 3-basing it, so he really needs to make something happen this game. Look at this, though. MaNa's just deciding to attack on it. Eats a Widowmine shot. Eats a couple of Liberator shots as well. And now we see this Bio is pursuing in here. There's actually no Psystorm, so Kelazhur getting right on top of this army. MaNa loses all 4 Colossus all of a sudden. His High Templar were incredibly out of position, and that really hurt for MaNa. A great move for Kelazhur. That really helped pay him back for losing some of his, I guess, tech units there. We take a look, though. MaNa so bold with his Phoenix that are still alive, with his Stalkers trying to pick off some Medivacs. And now we take a look. The upgrades. It's going to be a lead in place for MaNa. He's rebuilding a couple more Colossus, and he does still have this Psystorm. And actually, look at this, a beautiful catch. Going to be finding pretty much all the Liberators of Kelazhur, and there's a lot of Psystorm right now. So Kelazhur, while he had a nice catch there, he doesn't have any of his tech units anymore, really. No more Ghosts in this composition. 1 or 2 Ghosts with good EMPs could allow him just to dive right on top of this army. I don't know if Kelazhur is going to be able to find that, though. because that's really all that he needs. If he manages to hit these High Templar while clumped up, that's usually how it goes for Terran, in which you can win the game, because the Protoss army isn't as strong without that AoE. There's only one Colossus, and that's why it's a big deal that MaNa lost those. I still feel it's a pretty good spot for MaNa, as he has bought enough time in order to rebuild another Colossus or two. But still, Kelazhur definitely in this game. A Liberator to the north, going to be trying to get some harassment done. Looks like it's going to be avoiding that cannon, getting set on up. Might even find itself a High Templar or two. That would be very nice. One Stalker blinks forward. In the end, though, great reaction from MaNa. Stalker for a Liberator is pretty much the trade. Meanwhile, some Zealot harassment. Kelazhur could be running out of gas right now. He never threw up a 4th base. He's playing the more typical Terran late game style. And oh, a couple of Ghosts get picked off. No EMPs land. This one Ghost is here. That gets picked off. There's these High Templar, which could drop some Psystorm on this army. Great Psystorms going down from MaNa. Kelazhur's army lost a lot of health due to that storm, lost a lot of health due to that stim. The Vikings managed to pick off a Colossus or two. However, Kelazhur hasn't got into a position in order to kill the Protoss, and the Protoss seems to keep restabilizing. The main base might have to float on over for Kelazhur relatively soon. In fact, where are these SCVs going? Okay, they're going to go resaturate this location. SCVs head in every which direction. Kelazhur realizing that he needs to keep his economy going, but still, while the army supply is in the favor of Kelazhur, it's going to be tough for him. He lost a lot of Liberators, a lot of Ghosts this game. Killing his opponent, going to be very tough. Most of his supply is in this bio, which is susceptible to Psystorm, to those Colossus. And look at that, High Templar on the high ground there, just really bruising up this army. More fantastic Psystorms going down for MaNa. The Vikings not going to be enough to pick off the Colossus. Another GG well played goes down. Oh, very good manners between these players. However, this means that we're going into Game 5 between these guys. And that means that we're going to be having one more game here. If you guys are enjoying this video, make sure to press that like button. Shows that you enjoy me doing these casts that are very long. This one probably going to be an hour if I had to guess by the time that this is done. Maybe a little bit more. We're going to load on in. I'm going to have a quick drink here because, you know, I like to try and save my voice before we get into what could be what is the conclusion of this epic Protoss versus Terran, or Terran versus Protoss. All right, let's do it. It's a best of 5. Let's give him some proper introductions. Spawning down in the bottom right-hand side of the map, it is MaNa. And in the top left-hand side of the map, it is Kelazhur. What a fantastic series between these two. I was wondering about whether I'd cast this. I was like, okay, it could be very long. The games, I don't know how good they'll be, but oh, I am really glad that I decided to cast this one. MaNa and Kelazhur, such great players, showing us a great series. And I didn't try and predict who'd win or how the games would go, but so far these have been very, very good. A few mistakes on both sides, but it's Starcraft 2. It's tough to do absolutely everything right. And I feel as if MaNa's overall play has been pretty great, but he does make the odd mistake here. Fortunately, he's been able to stabilize them, never making, say, one mistake right after another. He's made the odd mistakes, say, such as walking those 4 Colossus away. If he didn't have some High Templar in position, he could have just died. Or if Kelazhur, say, had like a drop or something going on and was able to really split him, losing those 4 Colossus could have been disastrous for MaNa. Still, though, a great series between these guys. Let's just see how it's going to go here. The map is King's Cove. Kind of reminds me a little bit of, I think it was maybe Abyssal Reef. I don't know why. Maybe just the layout or whatever. Kelazhur, though, just going for his own SCV, moving out on the map. Probably just going to be for a bit of scouting. Meanwhile, MaNa scouting. SCV running on in. Gonna spot this Adept. The Reaper for Kelazhur is actually staying back at home, maybe worried about a probe that was going to come on in and harass a little bit. MaNa's probe, though, just heading right on home. Stargate on the way for MaNa. Gonna be going for this. And we'll see. How well will it work versus Kelazhur? Reaper's going to be jumping on into the main base of MaNa. Can this Adept stop it? Not quite in position, though. Yeah, she's going back and forth, trying to make sure that it doesn't go into the natural. She does get into position, though, in order to intercept this. And, oh, look at this. This Adept going to start moving across the map. Interesting choice from MaNa. I suppose just wanting to get that scout off as another Adept just finished up. It's a balancing act for MaNa. You want to scout, make sure that no crazy aggression or unorthodox aggression is coming your way. But then you also need to defend from the Reaper, try and deny scouting, because it is important to note that Kelazhur hasn't actually identified the Stargate just yet. So that is a big deal. It's Adept going to be shading on out. Oh, actually shades on in. Doesn't shade on out. I mean, I was just saying that just, you know, as a saying or whatever. I was like, yeah, she's just doing her thing shading. But no, she actually shades on into the main base. And I don't know if that was a mistake or not, because she goes down. She gets a bit of a scout off, confirms that there's Hellions and a starport. But, oh man, yeah, that hurts for MaNa. I guess maybe he figured that she wouldn't escape anyway, just trying to run on home. And now we see, is MaNa going to be able to hold on versus Kelazhur's pretty routine aggression at this point? A few Hellions moving across the map. There's currently 2 Hellions out. And it's going to be 2 Hellions and a quad Widowmine drop. These Hellions try and make it on in. They do not, perfectly blocked by 2 well-placed Adepts, though. The question is, how much damage will this Widowmine drop get done? Another Phoenix on the way. Look at this Oracle getting a bit of damage done. Picks off 2 SCVs. Doesn't commit to find a third. There's no actual Widowmines in the main base. There we go. MaNa now realizing this. Going to get some nice damage done. As long as this Oracle gets on in and pursues it, she will eventually run out of energy, or it will eventually run out of energy, I guess. I'm not going to try and make that call. But this Oracle, yeah, she gets 7 worker kills, which is very important. Now, the Widowmine drop is going off for Kelazhur, though. Hits one of the Phoenix, trying to get these nice hits on all of these probes. It doesn't happen, though. One of these Widowmines might want to reburrow or try and escape or something. Mines are going to be unloading. Yeah, you got to unload all the mines if you're Kelazhur. Maybe at least pick off a Phoenix or something. This other mine that was lifted up is going to try and make a run for it. Maybe it can just avoid by dumb luck. That is not the case, though. Kelazhur, he's parked 1 mine on top of another. This probe, though, going to come and take one for the team. This other mine could have burrowed, though, but it didn't. And maybe could have got a shot off or something, as it just came off cooldown. So, interesting choices from these players. Kelazhur tried to make some aggression happen, but in the end it worked out really well for MaNa, who was able to shut that down. So, great play from him. Barracks is now floating on over. I wonder where this is going to go. Onto the tech lab, I guess, to try and start stim. Yeah, Kelazhur not going to be going for any more follow-up aggression. It would seem, just getting up his 3rd CC, starting up a few more barracks. Cyclone's locking onto these Adepts. It's like a few probes going down in the main base as these Hellions were able to get on in. Picks off 5 probes in total. A nice move from Kelazhur, at least getting a bit of damage done. This TvP is just, I mean, this series has just been go, 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 go. No passiveness, really. Phoenix out for MaNa once again. Being able to delay this command center would be nice. It looks like he'll be able to do just that. Confirming it's nice. And look at this, denying these barracks a little bit. Cyclone's going to lock on. Maybe one of the Phoenix goes down, and it does. Robotics Bay on the way. Observer moving across the map. Phoenix flying around still. Adept's going to try and shade onto the natural of MaNa. Meanwhile, this Observer moving on in. Colossus is on the way for MaNa behind this. There's no extended Thermal Lance just starting yet as he's getting up his third base, so looking like a pretty normal macro play behind this. Kelazhur does have Stimpack done, though, which is important to note, and there's just extended Thermal Lance and Blink starting now for MaNa, so this could actually be a potential scary push if Kelazhur moves out. Yes, he went for a third base, but it is going to be that Phoenix Colossus play, as a matter of fact, from MaNa. We take a look here. There's 4 Phoenix out. A 5th is being built. That's really an indicator there. Extended Thermal Lance, but it is an expensive style to play. So MaNa really trying to do it all. Having a tough time, though, as you're trying to spend money as quick as you can, but it is tough. This could be an absolutely massive find. Phoenix going to find these Medivacs, finds one of them, picks it off with some units inside. Marines going to be able to save that other Medivac, but that was a great find for MaNa. He's got another Phoenix coming on in, but oh, loses actually 2 there due to a bit of a mistake. Stalker or 2 getting picked off as well, so Kelazhur at least getting something in compensation. Now the question is how much longer does MaNa have before Kelazhur really decides to push on in? He's starting to move out on the map a little bit. MaNa has been revealing this army non-stop. Now this is where it's going to start getting better for the Protoss player. There's going to be 2 Colossus out in just a second. And the fact that there's still just a few Phoenix out makes these Colossus very tough to kill. There's a Sentry with energy. If MaNa can get out the gas, we want to see him maybe try and get like 1 or 2 more Sentries out if he can. As that really, you can't contest in the air versus this army. So it's all about Kelazhur. If he's going for the direct approach, he just needs to dive on top of this army. MaNa's trying to split himself, though. This could be a little bit dangerous. We see Cyclones locking on here, trying to get some damage on the shield battery, healing this Colossus up. He's taking shot after shot. Well done by that shield battery, though, healing that Colossus up. And as a result, Kelazhur not able to dive on top of this. Kelazhur trying to go for a drop, flies right into a pylon though, so he quickly changes his plan. We're seeing a few Adepts for MaNa. He really likes this Adept harassment, it would seem. And in the end, this situation, or all things considered, this is looking a little dicey for Kelazhur. The pressure is really on him to make something happen. The Phoenix intercept that Cyclone. They're now going to be looking for these Medivacs, which they do find thanks to this pylon. The Phoenix, though, a bit of a mistake from MaNa. Loses 1 more of them. Doesn't necessarily need to be losing those, and we do see MaNa. He's starting to move out onto the map, but it really is just Blink, Stalker, Colossus at this point. I mean, he does get a nice catch, though, on this bio. You got to be careful about overextending out onto the map, though, if you are MaNa. Kelazhur is up on supply still. This bio is continuously running away. Going to be setting sights on these rocks, maybe looking for a surround. That would be absolutely huge for Kelazhur. Vikings production is now on the way for Kelazhur because he realized there isn't too many Phoenix out anymore, so he can actually contend in that manner. And you got to be careful if you're MaNa. He hasn't invested into, say, High Templar tech at this point, which really is the next step for the Protoss player. There is no Templar, or actually, pardon me, there is a Templar Archives. There's no Storm started just yet, which is something that the Protoss player definitely needs. Kelazhur is looking to get up a 4th base. This Observer of MaNa sees it. Look at this. Kelazhur going to load up into these Medivacs. Of course, it was all seen by MaNa, though. And yeah, look at that. These Stalkers blink instantly. They're going to try and intercept this drop. Kelazhur realized there was an Observer there, going to unload. So mind games galore going on right now. Psystorm is on the way. There's 4 High Templar in a Prism, so MaNa is going to be reaching that scary tech. We may need to see Ghosts out for Kelazhur. However, he is approaching max, so he's really going to want to make something happen soon. He's building up a pretty decent Viking count, which can contend with the Colossus. There's going to be Psystorm in a second, but there's actually no Psystorm just yet. It's actually about 30 seconds off or so. So Psystorm, yeah, 30 seconds off. There's a few Vikings out. I mean, if Kelazhur can dive on top of this army, now is actually his time. It might be tough to make it work, but this could be his moment. He's got a very good chunk of bio. Once the Psystorm is done, it's a different story, though, as it really does punish this. But look at this, a beautiful spread from Kelazhur, making sure to be cautious about how he engages into this. And it looks like he's actually going to be able to force MaNa off his 4th base, and Kelazhur has his own 4th up, so that's absolutely huge for him. Now, you got to be careful for Kelazhur. You want to have a good split. He's retreating back versus these Psystorms. Lots of Marauders being healed up. The Vikings, they took a lot of damage, but they are working away on the Colossus, and this is a beautiful angle angle for Kelazhur, so all the Colossus are going to be getting picked off, and there's a fair bit of bio still on the ground. This one Archon going to be getting picked off. The Vikings actually didn't land to help out. They actually decided to retreat. If they landed, maybe it could have been a full snowball for Kelazhur. In the end, though, a pretty good result, as he was able to pick off all the Colossus, shut down the 4th base, and basically reset the army of MaNa. MaNa, he's got Psystorm, he's got a lot of High Templar out still, but he is down on supply for now. Kelazhur's getting up a 5th base, and this Protoss is stuck on 3, or just trying to establish his 4th. So Kelazhur, a nice move there, even repairing his Vikings, which is something I love, to make sure they can tank another Psystorm or 2. MaNa down on supply still once again. That was a great engagement for Kelazhur. Kind of baited MaNa into trying to save that 4th base. In the end, though, he lost the 4th and a good chunk of his army. We're seeing no more Colossus on the way for MaNa because he realizes that there's simply too many Vikings out. I wouldn't mind seeing a Disruptor or 2 if MaNa can mix that in. That would be good to see. For now, though, he's just getting his +2 attack, his +3 armor, so he's going to be having himself good upgrades going, an upgrade lead, but now there's Liberators on the way for Kelazhur. Off the back of his good economy, he may really just be able to make enough Liberators to take a bite out of MaNa, and look at this, MaNa is kind of desperate right now. He's realizing that he needs every little edge he can get, so he's moving out with his Blink Stalkers, just trying to pick off any unit that he can. Bio picks off one of the Stalkers, just trying to trade out with this. Looks like yeah, just small skirmishes here. In the grand scheme of things, though, I imagine we're going to be seeing Kelazhur go for another big attack. He's going to be floating this 5th base over. It's going to spot these Zealots that are chilling here, but, oh man, this TvP is just fantastic between these guys. And Oracle is on the way for MaNa because he wants to keep revealing this Terran army, but take a look at this. Yeah, this is just a big force moving across the map for Kelazhur, who's going to be maxed out in just a second. And this is a lot of Terran. There's a lot of bio here right now. Vikings are going to land once they realize that there's actually no Colossus, going to start tearing into those Stalkers, just adding more bodies into the mix. There's this one Disruptor here. There's a few more Psystorms, but I think that's it. What hit will this Disruptor hit? Gets a pretty good one. That was actually a great spot, but now some of these Immortals are going to start going down. Can Kelazhur keep pushing on in? He's got a few Liberators to retreat into. MaNa blinks underneath, picks off that Liberator, though. Such a close fight between these guys right now. Supply, the lead is staying for Kelazhur. However, MaNa is not dying just yet. He's staying alive. A lot of the supply for Kelazhur actually is in these Medivacs. More bio is reinforcing, though, so can he keep this going? You got to unload all those units, and you got to be careful. All these Medivacs very clumped up. If there was a big storm on that, it would be absolutely huge for MaNa. For now, though, he's doing his job. He's holding on. He got up his 4th base, and he's actually about to have a 5th one complete. So the Protoss player is surviving, and that is just... If a Protoss can survive, they always have a chance in the game, even if things are looking dicey. You make that first objective happen, and you play the game from there. And MaNa's doing just that. It's been close fights every time, but he's holding on for now. He drops another Psystorm, eats an EMP or 2. His actual extra High Templar goes down there, and I don't know if he has any more Psystorm on these High Templar. They're just going to be finishing up getting their Psystorm. So where is that Storm that should be dropping for MaNa? He's engaging into these Liberators, though. Stalker's trying to pick him off. There is a ton of Liberators, though. It might just be too much right now. More Zealots have been warped in. I think Kelazhur might have been able to make it happen, though, as that's gotta be GG, right? There's just too many Liberators. It was enough to bring MaNa down. It was looking close there. But in the end, a great position and a great way to close this out. MaNa, he tried to get up a 5th base, so now he's still on 4 bases, but it's just when you're a Protoss warping in like this, you're pretty much done at this point. There's just too much Terran. This is even though, yeah, just well played, GG. MaNa able to take, or Kelazhur able to take it over MaNa, just fantastically played. And this was a amazing Terran versus Protoss to cast. I'll say it now, if you guys enjoyed this video, make sure to press that like button. If you're new to the channel, feel free to press that subscribe button, as I'm putting out these casts pretty darn regularly, and I am really glad I cast this one. But as I said, let's try and hit 25 likes on this video, guys. I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching.